Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United transfer news. And what a mess. I mean, what a mess it is. I know we have conversations over the last few weeks about, positivity, negativity, give it time, we'll be okay. But come on, is there anybody actually out there that's going to defend this now? It's chaos, it's a shambles, and it is just a sad indication of just what a bunch of clueless people we've got in charge. They fill me with no confidence, and I really want to believe in them. I really want them to do well, but from the bottom of my heart, I think they're absolutely terrible at what they're doing. I don't think they've got a bloody clue about football at all. Whatever plan they've got doesn't work in 2025. I don't know whether it's about making us profitable off our own money and then gradually building our way back, but the way football works now is that you spend money. Arsenal spend hundreds of millions of pounds on players they never used to, now they do. Liverpool never used to, now they do. This is the way to be successful, and you spend that money that you make from being successful on the pitch because UEFA and FIFA will give you hundreds of millions of pounds if you are in the Champions League or the Club World Cup, and you only get there by performing. And we seem to think we're going to climb the mountain in a pair of flip-flops. It's just not going to happen. And the strategy which the Glazers have implemented for the last 20 years seems to have been picked up and multiplied in a bad way by Ineos, who are cut, and think that, a genius manager is going to make us amazing again. And you give Arne Slot Man United, or you give Arteta Man United, or you give Pep Guardiola Man United, we'll still be shit. Sir Alex Ferguson doesn't exist anymore. That type of football doesn't exist anymore. And he had money. He had money. So we are looking for a Sir Alex Ferguson, which was a one-off. We're looking for a Sir Alex Ferguson to rebuild the club without money. It doesn't even... What they're trying to do is impossible. It's absolutely impossible. And I look at where we are now. There's a bit of update around Rashford and talks with Barcelona and, not wanting to leave. We can talk about that. But realistically, we need to talk about the most depressing thing of all, the striker situation. It's 100% the first thing we need to discuss on the show tonight, because I think the place I want to start off with is because you know me, I'm always honest. I don't lie. I don't deflect. I don't hide. I won't delete the tweets about Gyökeres, and I'll tell you the story right now. Absolutely 100% on that Sunday 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, when I said what I've just seen makes me think we're signing Gyökeres. I told you what it was. What I saw from somebody very, very credible in the industry, saying Gyökeres to Manchester United is red hot. And across that week, Fabrizio was saying it as well. So for that few days, Man United were in, and this was after the Europa League final. But can I just remind you what, on June the 9th, or it was either June the 9th or the 11th, this is a direct quote. Romano can't sue me for this. This is a direct quote from his video on June the 9th or the 11th. With Champions League football, I am 99% convinced Manchester United were going to close the deal for Gyökeres. Read that back. With Champions League football, I am 99% convinced Manchester United were going to close the deal for Gyökeres. That is one of the top 2 transfer experts in the world saying on June the 9th or 11th, I can't remember the date, he was 99% convinced. You've got United fans arguing with Arsenal fans on social media saying we were never in for him anyway. Grow up. Take the L. Look at the incompetence of the board and accept we're in big, big trouble. Delap was plan A. Gyökeres was plan B. Plan C, I don't know. I don't know whether we've gone past plan C already. I mean, we're talking Calvert-Lewin. We're talking Ollie Watkins. I don't even know where we're going. And look, Epoch says I knew we weren't getting Gyökeres. That's absolutely great, mate. What a great guess. But I don't go on guesswork. I go on sources and information, and the information was that we wanted Gyökeres, and Fabrizio says 99% if we'd won the Champions League. I don't think as well, just very quickly, we might get time to come back to this because I want to talk about the striker situation and where we go from here. Because Man United need to pull off the best week of their transfer history ever. We literally need to pull off something. I mean, we need to pull off something big. That's what she said. That's what I was going to say, but I'm not in the mood for comedy. But can I just say this? To all the people who said losing the Europa League final to Spurs was a blessing in disguise, I think they're starting to wake up and realise that that tactical disaster class where a bunch of players didn't turn up and Amorim didn't respond in time cost us more than the Europa League football. I think that game is going to go and haunt us for a very long time, because I think it is. Delap went to Chelsea for Champions League football. Gyökeres has gone to Arsenal for Champions League football. We are. Look, I know Mbeumo wants to come. I know Cunha wanted to come, but we need a striker, and we can't get a striker because they don't want to come. And that game is going to go. I said the next day I felt a release. I didn't say it was a blessing in disguise. I said I hoped it could be a blessing in disguise. But what I said was, when you've hit rock bottom, the only way is up. But not with this ownership, not at all. So where do we go now? Gyökeres is going to Arsenal. Delap went to Chelsea. I mean, look, we're on our knees for Osimhen, but we may as well not bother. You know, if our only hope is Osimhen, there is no hope, because we just won't do that deal. So I don't know where we go from here now, because this is just desperation. I'd call it Plan D, Plan Desperation. There ain't no way we were planning for people like Calvert-Lewin or Ollie Watkins. There's just no way. Whatever you think about those players, and let's not be disrespectful, I think Ollie Watkins is a good footballer. But if you think Watkins or Calvert-Lewin are going to get me excited about this season or make me think we're going to get in the top 5, it's just not. It's just not. I was sat there just before we went live, and I was thinking, you know what? If we got Gyökeres with Cunha and Mbeumo, maybe a goalkeeper, maybe 5th place was there, I think the job's too big already. If you're asking me, there's 2 roads to go down here. One is we have a good season and we start bouncing back. 2 is the shit hits the fan and Amorim loses his job. And I have to pick a route. I know which one I'm going to guess. I know. I mean, look, I've heard people saying today, we've got Arsenal, first game of the season at Old Trafford. They're going to roll up with Saka, Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, Zubimendi, maybe Eze, Gyökeres. Like, they could put 4 or 5 past us in the first game of the season, and it's Amorim out from game 1. I don't necessarily think that will happen. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if we won. I remember years ago, I think it was the very first televised Premier League game. It was a Super Sunday game. It was Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. First ever Super Sunday game. Liverpool were the favourites to win the league, I think. Forest beat them 1-0, and Forest got relegated that season. So you know we might beat Arsenal on the opening day, but I'm very concerned about this season, and I don't know how United spin this. Maybe a Ruben Amorim interview tomorrow probably is the best idea, isn't it? But you tell me where we go from here, because I just don't know. The most important position, I think the big problem is sometimes you moan, and you moan thinking I might get proved wrong. I feel I'm moaning and I can't get proved wrong. How do I get proved wrong on this? The only hope is Osimhen, really, and I don't see it happening. It would have to be desperation to go and do it, because we've not been talking to him. I like that type of desperation, but I don't think we'll go and do it. I think we're more likely to go for somebody like Ollie Watkins, who's 29 and is going to want 150, 200 grand a week in a 5-year deal. So I don't know what the plan is for Manchester United now. I know Barada's full of shit when he says that we've been planning this summer for ages. We definitely haven't. This is not the plan. This is chaos. This can't be the plan. Like, this is not the plan. And I think the thing that bothered... Look, I spoke about it already on the Gyökeres video, and I'll summarise it very, very quickly. And then there's another thing that really bothers me as well. But we've been talking about this for weeks, and I think a lot of people haven't realised it. I don't think the mainstream have realised it. I don't think the ex-player community have realised it. I don't even think our owners have realised it, which is really scary. But I watched the Champions League on That's Football with many of you last season. This new format, which is basically a mini Super League before you have the knockouts, right? Liverpool got knocked out in the last 16 and earned 100 million quid. They didn't even get to the quarterfinals and they earned 100 million quid. And at that moment, when I read that back in February or March, I went, shit. Football has suddenly changed. By being in that Champions League, you can earn way more than you can from winning the Premier League and everything else. So you've got to be in that Champions League. And every year you're in it, if you're Arsenal, every year you're in the Champions League, that's £100 million more money than Man United, Fulham, Spurs, Aston Villa, Newcastle, every year you're earning £100 million more. Do you know how hard it is for a football club to earn £100 million? Really difficult. Really, really difficult. You've got to sell a lot of shirts. You've got to do a lot of tours. You've got to be very successful in the Premier League. But if you can get in the Champions League every year, you're earning £100 million. And every year they do that, they move further and further away from everybody else. And we're not in that conversation, which wouldn't be so bad if we didn't have all the debts, but we're a club in debt with shit owners and we're not in the Champions League. And it's just going to be bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. And the second thing that worries me is that this is Ruben Amorim's first summer transfer window. I've followed the Arsenal situation as a football fan quite interestingly for the last 18 months. They've needed a striker. And this was the summer where they were going to get their striker. Is it Sesko? Is it Gyökeres? Who's it going to be? And it's going to be Gyökeres, right? Man United need a striker. We finished 15th. We need a striker. 100%. It's his first summer transfer window. It's his first pre-season. And he needs a striker. And they've absolutely shit the bed. They've messed it up. Nobody can defend this. Well, there'll be some prats who do, but how can you defend this? This manager that you have ripped out of Sporting and promised him the world, and you've messed up every single striker option that we've been for. I mean, we will sign a striker. We will definitely sign a striker. But who that striker's going to be, I don't know. But the scary thing is, I think the striker we're going to get is going to be very, very uninspiring. And it could well be Calvert-Lewin because he's a free. Of course he could. So there we go. Romano has just said in the last few minutes, Gyökeres has accepted to give up $2 million from his salary in order to facilitate Arsenal and Sporting. Sporting insist on higher fee compared to Arsenal proposal, and Gyökeres tried his best, also giving up money to make it happen as per the record. Yeah, I'm just reading here on United exclusive. Alex Crook talk shit. Brian Mbermo medical at Man United expected to take place next week. That was on June the 26th. It's now July the 6th. This is what I mean. Talk shite. Anyway, that was got nothing to do with this. I don't. Does that mean the Gyökeres deal has fallen through again? I don't. We don't want Gyökeres now. You know, it would be. We just got to move on. I'd rather. Yeah. Look. On the striker situation, let's talk about it. I just want to go through some of your comments, though. We will announce Mbermo when Arsenal announce Gyökeres, says Rajan. Sad for my club and team, but I'm so enjoying and hoping more heat on owners, says Nishank. Now, you know what's going to happen. They're going to make a load of late, desperate signings, and people will be knocking one out saying we're back. This happens every year. They've already messed up. They've already done it too late, but people will still get really excited. Wrexham will be leaving us behind in the next few years if these owners don't screw their heads on. Wrexham, Birmingham, yeah, I agree, Jackie. Thank you, Nishank. Okay, Ron says, Arsenal have Gyökeres, City and Chelsea signing 3 or 4 each, Liverpool signed Wirtz, even Spurs are active. Yeah, our deluded fans back Glinios for top 6, says Ron. Aline, welcome to the Members Club. I stopped caring about Man United already. All they do is ruin my day. Glazers ruined our club. Hala Madrid from now on, says Slippy. We haven't even sold anybody yet, says Shahin. Is United Stand trying to get an interview with Amorim? Nah. No, Kia. No. Osman, Vlahovic or Mateta are the only options, says Shane. Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Mitrovic, who knows? New stadium, PowerPoint tomorrow, says Mr. Polford. Is there a scenario where we go for Sesko, says Ross? I don't think we go for Sesko because I think Arsenal pulled out a Sesko deal because it was so expensive. So I don't think we'd go for Sesko. I don't think Sesko even fits the profile of the sort of striker we need as well. Another Sunday night where everyone's here to console each other. Owner-induced depression. I don't think you understand. I can get you an air fryer, says Tyler. Jaden's gifted 5 memberships. You're a legend, mate. Zane says, why this club is being run is aging the fuck out of me. I have been trying to convince myself the club has got nearly they bull, says Zane. Okay, just learn to type your words out when you're angry, because this is happening quite a lot now. People are putting super chats in, but they're not actually reading back what they've written. Always read back your emails and your messages. Annoyed at this Mbermo transfer. I'm 24 and I'm grey, says Matty. Mark, I'm expecting nothing less than Osman now as a striker, and I'm not interested in anyone else. These owners messing up everything Fergie built, says Zane. No top player will come to us until this manager drives Onana out who causes tension. We have to show we're serious. Go buy a kid and bench that bum, says Parker. Calvert-Lewin is our new normal, says 1 Inch Wonder. Ghost is a new member. Welcome to Members Club. Thanks for supporting the channel and getting your badge in and becoming a member, Ghost. Jamie Vardy up front, I'm calling it, says Jackie. Should we go for Vlahovic, says Ash. Look, I don't think there is a striker out there now that excites me. I actually have to be completely honest. All hope is gone when it comes to a striker now. I don't believe for 1 minute we'll get in the Osman race at all. I think that's about money and we haven't got it. Watkins I like, but I think it's a huge risk. Calvert-Lewin makes me want to throw up. Vlahovic I'm not convinced about. I basically, if I'm going to be completely blunt, we're desperate now, as Matthew says, and it all just stinks of desperation. Even if we sign Ollie Watkins, like Robert McCormack says, I always thought we would go for Watkins. Even if we sign Watkins and they unveil him in a Man United shirt, all I'm going to think is, this is plan D. And we know it's plan D. And I think that's the biggest thing tonight. We know whoever we buy is not plan A. And Man United can spin it as much as they bloody well like, but they're not that clever. We know you wanted Delap. We know you wanted Gyökeres. So this is just desperation, and that doesn't fill fans with confidence. And even away from the striker situation, everything we're doing now is desperate. Mbeumo, not been done. We're desperate. Not sold anybody. We're desperate. Not got a goalkeeper. We're desperate. Not got a midfielder. We're desperate. Not got a striker. We're desperate. And everything just stinks of desperation now. Whatever we do from this point, and we will do stuff, it's just desperation. And that is not what we needed after the worst Premier League season we've ever had and the humiliation of the Europa League final. We needed strong leadership, organisation, efficiency, and we needed to stand up. We were rock bottom after that Spurs game. We needed to stand up and behave like Manchester United football clubs of the past. We're in trouble. We've been relegated before. We've still stood up and got promoted and got back on our feet. We've absolutely caved in. We are so bad. This is such a bad representation of what Manchester United stands for. Pure and utter incompetence and desperation. Embarrassment after embarrassment. We've been stood outside Sporting for 4 fucking weeks like Oliver with his bowl saying, please, sir, waiting for Arsenal to go and sign Sesko so we can go for Gyökeres. And Arsenal have signed Gyökeres. And we're there like this. Prats. That's what we've become. The plan is just wild. Absolutely wild. Emily Derry says it's not necessarily losing Gyökeres to Arsenal that angers me. It's the utter incompetence way that United has gone about their business compared to Arsenal. If we go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we're screwed. Yeah, I'm with you, Emily. I said that this afternoon. Gyökeres, I think, would have been an amazing signing, and I think he'll do really well at Arsenal. But so would Osman. So would Sesko. These are good strikers. My issue is, it's July the 7th, tomorrow. We aren't even in talks with a striker. It's the most important signing. We're not even in talks. We're just drifting. We're like a bloody boat without oars or a sail. We're just drifting, hoping we're going to land somewhere. Great. You know? Don't want to hear any blame on Amorim or Bruno, says Desiree. Well, I don't think you're going to get that wish. Marley, Liverpool, welcome to the Members Club. Being from Cov, know all about Gyökeres and his quality. However, he's turned us down only because we didn't get Champions League. He can do one. Osman wants us, says Steve. I hope you're right. United should target Lautaro Martinez, says SCR Alex. We don't need a striker. We desperately needed a striker. We didn't need a striker. We desperately needed a striker, says Mike. Gyökeres was the cheapest out of them all, and we cannot afford the others. We are a mess. I mean, this is the great thing as well. This is the great thing as well. Delap was £30 million, goes to Chelsea. Gyökeres has gone to Arsenal for 56. They're not even that expensive. What's left in the market now? God knows what will get charged. DV says Goldbridge giving us all that inclusive 11D IMAX Ultra United transfer window experience. But on a serious note, who can we realistically sign for strikers, says DV? Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. New season, same old United, says Billy. I can see it now. Mbeumo, here we go. Tomorrow, distract the fans for a couple of days while they plan their striker target. Embarrassing, says Alan. I just can't wait for the first Amorim interview. Is he going to talk bollocks or is he going to talk the truth? I mean, I think that's the big thing. Just spat water all over the camera there. I think that's the big thing. Is Amorim doing an interview this week? And will he do what Ten Hag did in his second season and, basically dilute himself and become a Glazer boy? Or will he talk the truth? The Glazers have given every Premier League manager Plan D signings, says Avi, including Sir Alex. Do you think Amorim actually knows this, says Avi? Well, he does now. We all knew the mess that we were in when we finished 15th and lost the final against Tottenham and didn't sell Bruno. Yet now every Man United fan is surprised there's absolutely zero funds without selling, says Abraham. Yeah, but you know what that is, Abraham? It's the lies. That's it. I would respect the club if they told the bloody truth, but they lie. They lie. They say we've been planning this transfer window for ages. We're relaxed. Everything's going fine. And we haven't been planning this transfer window. Quite clearly, we are like, up shit creek without a paddle. Until the owner is changed, this club never going forward, says JB. Look, I've never known in my 40 years watching football, and this is scary, I have never known a period in football where we're about to have a Super League and we're not going to be in it. The Super League already exists. It's just subtle. It's called the Champions League. All the Super League money now is in the Champions League. That's why Real Madrid and everybody else ain't that bothered about the Super League anymore, because it already exists. As long as you're in the Champions League, you're making big money. And when you make big money, it's hard to fall out. And I don't think Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City are dropping out the Champions League anytime soon. So how do you get in? How do you get into that club when they're getting stronger and richer year after year after year? And I've never known football like this. Never. The Gyökeres to United idea was in your head. It was never an option. Plettingol confirmed it. Joe, look, I ain't going to block anybody. I'm not going to fall out with anybody. And I'm not going to waste any time on you. Joe, it wasn't in my head. It was spoken about by numerous people. We were in talks. We were after him. He was Plan B. You can convince yourself all you want. And if you're going to come in here and say Florian Plettenberg confirmed we were never in for him, well, fuck me. What? I'll sit down and admit that. Of course we were in for him. Absolutely we're in for him. Do you want me to read it back? What Fabrizio Romano said, 99% sure we would have closed the deal if we'd won the Champions League, if we'd won the Europa League. Look, take the fucking L, as I said. It really pisses me off when people cannot own up to the fact. What pride are you fighting for? I've seen people doing it all afternoon. With Arsenal fans, we never wanted him anyway. What victory are you fighting for? We are at rock bottom. Own it. Own what we are. Stop trying to pretend we're still relevant. Oh, we were never in for him. We were never in for Delap. We were never in for Gyökeres. Well, maybe we should have fucking been in for him then. Who are we in for? I'd rather be in for somebody and not get them than not be in for anybody, which is what you're talking about, Joe. Who are we in for then? This is the brilliant thing. People start pulling nonsense out their arse saying we weren't in for Gyökeres, we weren't in for Delap, trying to flex some muscles that are irrelevant. Well, who the bloody hell were we in for then? Answer that one. Exactly. I think the only way that Manchester United can become the way they used to be is to spend across the whole squad, not going for one or two mega signings, says Spencer. They certainly need to spend. What did you drink today, says Ash? Nothing. I'm late because I was actually doing some exercise, which is rare for me on a Sunday. People would be sacked if this was a normal job, says Jordan White. And Wrexham will be leaving us behind. I've done that one from Jackie Boy. If relegation rids us of the Glazers, bring it on. It won't. I don't know why people think relegation will get us. I don't know why people think, relegation is a prospect anyway. And I certainly don't know why people think relegation would get rid of the Glazers. I don't think you realise what happens if you get relegated. You still make a lot of money. You get parachute payments. We'd get 46 games a season instead of 38 and we'd fill it out as well. Corey, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much. Glazers aren't going anywhere until they've built their stadium and then they're not going to go anywhere anyway. You blew that. The chance is gone. If top four is a trophy, it certainly leads to one, says Nev. If I was Sesko, I would sack his agent saying trying to get the best deal for Leipzig. He should be getting the best deal for his client, not for clubs, says Eric. Yeah, I do wonder what Sesko's thinking tonight because he's just lost, hasn't he? I'm taking the W, my boy, says Joe. Yeah, boring. I'm okay if we get relegated this season. Maybe it's great the way you come back with a childish, I'm taking the W, but didn't answer the question, Joe, did you? Who are we in for if we weren't in for Gyökeres and Delap? Answer the question, and then you will sit on your L. I'm okay if we get relegated this season. Mate, we're not getting relegated, Mohit. Look, I understand people are fed up. I understand the frustrations. I'm frustrated, but I'm not entertaining the relegation talk. It is nonsensical. We were nowhere near relegation last season, and that's the worst I've ever seen us play. We brought Cunha in. We're getting rid of some of the shit. There will be some improvement. We just won't be anywhere near Champions League. We might finish 8th. I don't know what people are talking about. Relegated. It's just idiotic. We weren't even close to relegation last year. We won't be relegated. Grow up. Like, have a proper conversation. We're not talking about bloody relegation. Season hasn't even started. Osman wants to come and go get who? Scott, can you tell me where Osman wants to come as well? I mean, it's stupid Sunday, isn't it? Where's the story that Osman wants to come? Because I could do with a laugh. Where is it that Osman said he's coming to Manchester United then? Because I tell you what, that's a load of bollocks. I wonder I wonder why we've not scouted Retue, plays for Atalanta. Probably because Rasmus, basically, and we don't want to do that again. Desperation plus lack of time equals extortion, says Nev. I think this is a great point where we're going to go next. Look, I want to talk about a few other things, but I think that it's a really scary situation in relation to the striker now. We're nearly halfway through the summer transfer window, by the way. We're nearly in the middle of July, so we're nearly halfway through the transfer window. We haven't actually held any meaningful conversations with a striker yet. We take about 5 to 6 weeks to do a deal. So even if we started talking to a striker tomorrow, we'd do well to get them in for the Arsenal game without a pre-season 100%. I said to you 2 weeks ago, we won't have a striker on the pre-season tour, and some people laughed at me. Well, I was bloody right. I don't think we're going to get a goalkeeper either. It's very, very worrying. If you're asking me what striker we're going to go for, the scariest thing is, for the first time in a long, long time, I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue. If you're asking me to guess, Watkins looks the most logical because we were linked to him last week, but I don't know. Calvert-Lewin is free. I don't know what we're planning on doing. I really, really don't. But what I do know is Ruben Amorim will be sat there using a striker he wasn't thinking he was going to use. And that is a very, very sad situation to be in. I think Man United are in huge trouble. I didn't think things could get worse, and I don't think they will in relation to league position. But we got laughed at for finishing 8th a year ago. People are now talking like 8th would be a success. Only 12 months ago, 8th was an embarrassment. If we finished 8th this year, people would say, well, it's an improvement. It's still an embarrassment. We're Manchester United, for God's sake. So God knows where we're going next. I haven't got a clue. Could we not even buy a striker? Has anybody considered that? Maybe we don't even buy a striker. Rasmus stays. Xerxes can play up front. Maybe Cunha can play up front. Maybe we don't buy a striker. Maybe Joe Wright, that was the plan all along. We were never talking to any strikers because we don't want one. But obviously we know that's a load of shit because we were talking to Gyökeres and we were talking to Delap and we inquired with Leverkusen about Ekatike. So maybe we don't buy a striker now. Maybe we just go and we don't do it. I mean, some people are saying about what about Tony? Whoever it is, Ivan Toney's a decent striker. Ollie Watkins is a decent striker. Whoever it is, it's not going to be even in the top 3 targets that we were looking at, and that worries me. Stop giving the owners the excuse of no funds. They can sponsor the training ground, sell the women team, sell some land. There are ways, says Rory. Oh, mate. Of course there are ways to get money into that football club. It's laughable how stupid some of our fans are when they say the club's got no money. And the journalists all around Man United swallow it. They swallow it because they want their interviews and their client journalists. Chelsea had no money a couple of years ago, and they've spent hundreds of millions of pounds because they find ways to get the money in. Manchester United still have some of the best revenue in world football. You're telling me we couldn't get creative around selling this or doing that or sponsoring this? We can get money into that football club. We'd find a loophole if we wanted to, but we've got an owner that's never put a pound in. And this is what makes me laugh when people fall for it, that we've got no money. We have got money. We just got owners that don't want to put money in. They've never put a pound in 20 years. They're not going to start now. So You can't sell the women's team and inject 200 million quid because you need an owner to do it. So we haven't got the owners to do what Chelsea do. Chelsea want to get money into their club. Man City want to get money into their club. We've got owners that don't want to get money into the club. We didn't need to sack half our workforce. We could have put money into the club to keep that workforce, but no, we're going to save money doing it that way. With missing out on Gyökeres, I think Amorim is at serious risk of starting the season poorly, says Wolfie. He can take us back to the top, but not with this ownership and board, says Wolfie. Vlahovic will be the best option currently, says Razzler. I don't really care who we sign now. As I said, argue amongst yourself. I don't really care if it's Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Vlahovic, Tony. I don't really care because it's not exciting. It's not exciting. It reminds me of Christmas when I was about 12 and I wanted a Super Nintendo. And I woke up and I didn't get a Super Nintendo. I got games from a Mega Drive. And I was like, that's great, but I've already got a Mega Drive. I wanted a Super Nintendo. I'm just going to go to my room, tell me when dinner's ready. And that's what I feel like. And some people would say, well, that's very spoilt behaviour. Maybe it is, but we're Manchester United. Look, there's nothing wrong with Ollie Watkins. There's nothing wrong with Ivan Toney, but I won't be excited about it. It's just not what we needed. We needed to make a statement, and I don't think that's a statement. And I know it's a desperation plan as well. And can I just remind people as well? I need to remind myself, actually. Let me just do this. You know, this is not me scaremongering anybody. This is just what the facts are. First 5 games of the season. Arsenal, Fulham away, Burnley at home, Man City away, and Chelsea at home. We're playing 3 of the top 5 in the first 5 games. And we're playing the top 4 in the first 8 games. And we're playing at Anfield and the Etihad in the first 8 games. Where we are at the moment, I can see us losing 3 out of 5 quite comfortably. Quite comfortably. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to get smashed by Arsenal on the opening day because I'm too experienced like many of you. I've seen too many shocks or whatever you want to call it on the opening day, and we are at home. But Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea in your first 8 Premier League games. And people say, well, everybody plays everybody over 38 games. But we saw it at Wolves last year. If you have a bad start, it knocks your confidence. You have to have a good start. And, yeah, I'm worried. Of course I'm worried. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. We failed to recover from missing out on Delap. It's like their whole plan was based on Delap, says Murillo, 6222. And look, we were talking about Delap in April. I never wanted Delap. And I'm not going to sit here and say, I wish we'd got Delap. I didn't want Delap. But the concerning thing is we clearly didn't have a backup plan. And that is, at the highest level of football, that's shocking. It's absolutely shocking to not have a backup plan for a club like Manchester United is abysmal. It's absolutely abysmal. And to not be able to sell your goalkeeper because he won't go is abysmal. And you know what? I was thinking about it today. If you were a conspiracy theorist, if we'd won the Europa League final, we'd have had the money to buy a goalkeeper and force Onana out. We lose the Europa League final and we don't have the money and we can't force him out. So basically, if Onana was clever, you know, maybe I'll have a shit performance in the final. Now, obviously, he hasn't done that, but that's how stupid United's situation is. If we lose the final, we won't be selling some of you lot, but if we win it, we will. I mean, if those players are clever enough, why would you be motivated? Why would you be motivated to have a brilliant game in the final when you probably know you're going to lose your place in the team next year? But if you lose the game, you know the club's financially fucked and you probably will be here next year. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. And to be fair, that's not a conspiracy theory. Loads of people were talking about it in the weeks and days leading up to the final. There'll be a lot of players that are going to lose their job if they win this game. He wasn't the only one who was awful in the final anyway. Shout out to my wife, Dania. We just had our first child on Monday. A girl. Wife follows Liverpool. I'm Man United. How do we solve the incoming debate? This is Mr. Bannon. Well, congratulations, first of all, to you and your wife. Congratulations on the birth of your daughter. And I suppose at the moment, I mean, look, we're not Arsenal's rival. You know, when Arsenal bought you, I know that it's not official yet, but when Arsenal got Gyökeres, the disappointment on how bad United is obviously real, but it's not a shock. We're run by idiots. I congratulate Arsenal. I think he's going to be a fantastic signing for you, and you might win the league next year. There was a few Arsenal fans coming on and laughing and going, ha, ha, ha. But I thought, you know what? What a waste. If you're an Arsenal fan trying to banter Man United fans, what a waste. We're not your rival. Like, we're not Liverpool's rival. I mean, obviously, Liverpool are always our rival, the same way Everton never lay a glove on Liverpool and they're still City rivals. But we're not actually competing with them. There's a rivalry, but it's not a competitive rivalry, is it? When we play them, we want to beat them and they want to beat us. But they're not looking at Man United this season and going, they're a threat. We're not a threat. The only teams that are looking at us as a threat are bloody Fulham. We are only Manchester United by name now, not by ownership, says the Rosinator. Attitude, mentality and leadership, no change coming unless we get new owners. We're a joke, and that's not going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something announced in the next few days about the stadium as well, really. How to make it a 10 out of 10, says who to blame. Mate, impossible. Impossible. Get bloody James Arthur on. It's impossible. You can't turn this into a 10 out of 10 transfer window. It's impossible. Because the components of a 10 out of 10 transfer window is perfection, which means you get players coming in June, you've sold players in June, everyone's in for pre-season. It's impossible. You can't be achieved, mate. It's not like we haven't seen this come in. Our scouting and transfer strategies have been subpar for the years. What's going on, says Yelix. Jevon says, we will sign a striker and it's going to be an expensive one, which is what we were trying to avoid. But now that the plan has failed, we will end up getting Sesko, Osimhen or Ekitike. I mean, Jevon, I would take Ekitike or Osimhen or Sesko right here, right now, because they are high echelon European strikers. But, and selfishly, I would take them. But it is desperation and it is expensive. And it will be at the detriment of other areas. We'll probably have to blow most of our budget on a striker now. There'll be no chance of getting a goalkeeper or a midfielder. And that's the other thing. By being incompetent, we've actually missed out on good deals. You know, I say Ollie Watkins, that's going to cost you 40, 50 million quid. Should we have sold Bruno? Well, I spoke about that this morning. Anyway, let me just, I mean, oh God, I don't know. I do need to talk to you about this because this is something that came in as well. God, have you seen this? Agate. Agate's post. Okay, no, I'm not going to read about that. Not interested in that. Here we go. I need to stop saying here we go. It's the only place we ever bloody hear here we go in relation to Man United. Okay, here it is. Where was it? John Duran's gone to Fenerbahce. Okay, so it started off with Marcus Rashford has not... This is from Henry Winter, who basically is like Marcus Rashford's mouthpiece. It was the guy who did the interview with him that was unauthorised at Christmas. This is from Henry Winter today, and it will have come directly from Rashford because, you know, they're tight. Marcus Rashford has not asked to leave Manchester United, but he has accepted he's not part of Amorim's plans. He knows he has to leave to increase his chances on making England's 2026 World Cup squad. So obviously we know that's come in from Rashford. I mean, it would have been a bigger conversation if we weren't talking about more important factors. But we actually spoke about this on Friday. What relevance is this other than PR? Like, it's just pure PR. You know, you don't want it against you that you've asked to leave a club. You want to be looking like you're, you know, pure and honest and integrity and, you know, behaving really, really well. That's the only reason you would do that. What difference does it make whether you've been asked to leave or they've told you to leave? Why do you have to put out that you haven't asked to leave? I mean, I don't think there's any limits to the PR of the people around him and what they're trying to achieve. I find it really, really confusing. So you put it out as a statement, basically, that you haven't asked to leave, but you respect Ruben Amorim's plans, who's told you to leave. Well, that's great, because that actually makes me think Amorim is the boss, and he's told you to get stuffed, which is what he did to Beckham, which is what Sir Alex did to Beckham, and it's what he did to Roy Keane, and it's what he did to Jaap Stam. So you've actually made Amorim look even better because he's told you to do one. But in fairness, you can't say that you don't want to leave Man United when you did an interview 7 months ago talking about wanting a fresh challenge. You then spent the next month not trying in training. You then went to Villa and said it's the happiest you've ever been in your career. You then did another interview last month in Spain, glazing Barcelona. And now apparently you don't want to leave Man United. I mean, it's just like, why don't you just zip it and get a move? What is it you're trying to achieve by making out you don't want to leave? It's a funny way of saying you don't want to leave when you've spent 7 months pretty much championing wanting to leave. But anyway, of more interest, that wasn't what I was going to talk about, I just saw it. Barcelona are apparently going to make a move on Rashford this week. Diaz is very unlikely from Liverpool. Obviously, they're not going to get Nico Williams. So Sky Sports Germany are reporting that Rashford and Barcelona will be in talks this week. So hopefully, even though I don't think we can rescue this transfer window now, hopefully we can at least start doing something this week, because there's bad. And things are really bad at the moment, but let's see. Let's see what can happen. I just feel so fed up at the moment. Like, I put my hand up. I think we all put our hand up and say, "Oh yeah, you haven't seen my bloody shark, have you? Look, on the back. That's me and Seb. We're building it. Finally built it. I'll carry it over tomorrow. There's the shark, and there's the boat, the orca." That's proper Jaws Lego that is on the shelf. It's Sir Jim basically eating Manchester United. But no, got all excited about Lego. That's my life now. But yeah, I do feel a bit deflated at the moment. I think that it's human nature to dream. It's human nature to be optimistic. It's human nature to be, this time next year we'll be millionaires, even though you've got next to no chance. That's why you buy your lottery tickets. You know, people do want to see the positives. Most of us do want to see the positives. And I think when you have a season like last season, we're Manchester United. So you go, come on, now's the time they're going to prove us wrong. Now's the time they're going to show us what we're all about. And to be fair, I have seen some of you and other people say things are only going to get worse at Man United under the Glazers and Ineos. And I've got to say, I'm like, no, they won't. They will react. They'll react. They'll have a point to prove. And I'm sat here tonight and I'm going, those people were right. They actually don't have a plan. They actually don't know what they're doing. They don't actually realise the damage they're causing. They think their plan is going to work. They think cutting costs and making the club more financially viable is going to make us gradually grow back. I mean, Project 28 should terrify the shit out of you. It is 3 years away. And in 3 years' time, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea will have qualified for the Champions League every single time and earn about 300 to 400 million pounds that we won't have. That's approaching £500 million. And in 2028, we hope to be where they are now. But in 3 years' time, there'll be £500 million ahead of us. And that is terrifying. Operation 28 should get them booted out. There is no 3-year plan. There is no 5-year build a stadium. It's a 3-month thing. We are wasting the only opportunity we've got, which is to go out there and acquire as many good players as quickly as we can now. And we're just not doing it, are we? We're just not doing it. Tony Shannon says, new channel idea, the Lego stand, where you display your latest Lego creations, a distraction from this dire Manchester United situation. I like the idea, Ross. I find it quite therapeutic building Lego. Ross Stevens says, sorry, it wasn't Ross who said that, it was Tony. Ross Stevens says, I feel let down by United, same shit every summer. I think this is the worst summer, actually, mate. I think this is the worst summer transfer window we've had in a very long time. Factually, it might not be. Maybe we've got Cunha, but I think it's the worst transfer window we've ever had because of the context. That's the worst Premier League season we've ever had. So we needed, the context is worst ever Premier League season. You can't then have another shit transfer window. It needed to be better, and their reaction to it is pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. If we had people who actually cared about the football club, who actually understood the football club, it makes me sick to the pit of my stomach that we've just had our worst ever Premier League season where we've been embarrassed and laughed at every fucking week. And the reaction from our owners is, we're really relaxed. We've got a plan and we're going to stick to a plan. Like, they're not Man United fans. These people in charge of our football club are not Manchester United people. They are business people, and they are behaving like fucking business people. They are not behaving like Manchester United fans. There should be an absolute dedication and relentless frustration and anger and determination from June the 1st to today to get this football club back where it needs to be. And we've had no leadership at all. There is no identity in this football club anymore. We have just had our worst ever Premier League season, and this is the reaction to it. We're relaxed. We've been planning this for ages. Businessmen. Fucking pen pushers. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And where is the urgency? Where is the demand for better? Bruno Fernandes sat there for 2.5 weeks thinking about going to Saudi, and the club were like, please don't go. Bruno, we love you so, and we don't want you to go. Please don't go. I'm going to go and think about it. Okay, we'll keep singing. Don't go, begging you to stay. Please don't go. And that's what we did for 2.5 weeks. We just sat singing, Bruno, please don't go. We're not Manchester United. We're now fucking business United, and we've lost our soul. We've lost any semblance of being a big club. We are so embarrassing. We're so bloody embarrassing. Yeah. Curry on the bog, constipated. Any advice, says Nathan? All Bran. Joe Wright says, I know you're not mad at me, mate. It's fine, but at least you get to see Gyökeres at Old Trafford in August. I mean, yeah, Joe, to be fair, I did think about it today. His first game is going to be at Old Trafford, isn't it? One way or another, he was going to be playing at Old Trafford this season. From what I've just seen, I'm genuinely shocked if Arsenal don't sign Gyökeres, says Gyökeres. Mate, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. What I don't, just on that, I mean, I sort of touched on it at the start of the show. What I don't think people understand is Fabrizio Romano is not the CEO of Manchester United, and David Ornstein is not the chief negotiator, and I am not Jason Wilcox. So when people hear things and say things, it doesn't mean that it wasn't true at that time. On that Sunday, whenever it was, 3 or 4 weeks ago, absolutely convinced we were signing Gyökeres. I'm not shocked now. If Arsenal had signed him on the Tuesday, I would have been shocked. I'm not shocked now because we've had 3 or 4 weeks of it gradually moving away. But on that Sunday, I was convinced we were going to sign him, and I'm not deleting anything. I was. But was it April? We were the first saying that Liam Delap was Man United's priority. We didn't sign him. We definitely bloody wanted him. So what you've got here is Plan A was Delap, Plan B was Gyökeres, and we've messed them both up. Probably because we didn't beat Spurs. Basically, We didn't beat Spurs. I mean, I don't know whether I agree with Romano that 99% we would have got Gyökeres if we'd won the final, because I think we were signing Delap if we'd won the final. I'll never understand that, but he did say that. He was 99% sure that United would have closed the deal on Gyökeres if we'd won the Europa League final, against Spurs. But I think Delap would have chosen us anyway. But plan desperation, that's where we are now. Can sales free up wages for Osman? I need hope, says Deffer. Look, I said it this afternoon, and I'll say it again. The only thing this club can do to have any chance of getting into 5th place and maybe the Champions League, because it's not guaranteed 5th place will be the Champions League next year, depends how well English clubs do, is having a striker of the quality of a Gyökeres or an Osman. Well, Gyökeres is gone. So for me, you've got to go for Osman. If you're a serious football club, you go for Osman. He's there. Problem is, we're not a serious football club. And I think with Osman, he's a harder deal to do than any other deal, because he actually wanted to go to Saudi last year and still could go to Saudi next year. So it's going to be a financial decision for Osman, and we don't like spending money anymore. The odds on him coming to Man United are appalling, by the way. We're like 10-1. So he's odds on to go to Galatasaray, 2-1 to go to Saudi, 5-1 to go to Juventus, 10-1 to go to Manchester United. So at the moment, we're just not even in that race, if we're being completely honest. Poor planning provides proper protest, or so it should, says Sheep Guy. The most annoying thing about the Mbeumo deal is that we're going to pay what Brentford asked for right at the start. The board can't hustle at all, says Callum. Have we entertained the possibility Rashford isn't that bright, says Doug. Mate, come on. I mean, I don't. Marcus Rashford might be really thick. He might be really intelligent. There's plenty of thick footballers out there. They live in a bubble from like a kid. So, but there's plenty of thick people out there anyway. I don't think it's about intelligence. I just think it's a constant need to protect the brand, which is irrelevant. Just go and play for Barcelona and rebuild yourself. Don't be surprised if that Rashford comment is a snippet from an exclusive interview with Henry Winter, says Lee Berman. Thank you very much. We don't want players that only want the Champions League. Yeah, that we is the Glazers-led United. So why the pride rejecting ambitious players wanting the best competition, says Vibor. If Walker went to Burnley, so does he, says Yelix. Is there anything we can do about the club's interest in Calvert-Lewin? Some way to stop this awful interest? No, Atomic, of course we can't. I say forget a striker and get Mbeumo, goalkeeper, wing-back and CDM, says Rayan. Raj has gifted a membership. Thank you very much. Why don't directors get sacked like somebody for bad windows? We need picket lines, abuse fans crossing, fake merch continuing till Glazer's gone, says Cyril. Predictions for USA Mexico, says Constantine. In what? Football? I don't know what it is. I wouldn't put it past the ownership to panic and get Vardy in, says Alexander. Thank you very much. Do we take a risk on Obi, says Keel? I don't. Look, as I say, if Obi suddenly becomes the best striker in the world next season at 17 and scores 50 goals and we win the league, no one's going to be more happy than me. But the fact that we're even considering it, look, Watkins is still a good signing. Potentially a good signing. Ivan Toney, maybe. I don't know. Mateta. My problem is that these are not the quality of signing we should be going for. It's desperation now, isn't it? I'm just having a look at this from Swedish Rumble. It's somebody I follow on X who's like really good at the financial side of things. And he's just put a tweet out in the last few minutes, and I'm just going to summarise it. He says, I'm a positive guy, and it's not like I think Man United is ready to be buried, but I've mostly been making negative comments this summer, and many ask me for the reason for it. Should we give Ineos time? The only excuse I have for being critical is that there are a few things that really scare me. We have a poor cash position, which limits us on the market. The Glazers put us in that position, and it's not a legitimate excuse. We have a competent management team. We aren't run by Woodward anymore. Can huge improvements be expected? Of course, but we're miles behind the top teams, and our rivals are also run by competent people. So it's not like we got an advantage and can be expected to make up ground on them by having Wilcox compared to Liverpool, City and Arsenal's management teams. I flagged about how much the income from the new Champions League will increase for years. We are there now. We can see what Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, City and co will do. will be able to do for the coming years. I think this is the most scariest thing, and it's funny that a lot of people are sort of waking up to it now. Liverpool have just bought Wirtz, Kirkez, Frimpong, and a striker like Ekitike is coming in. Arsenal's window looks like being Gyökeres, Zubimendi, a winger like Eze or Rodrigo, and probably Eze and Rodrigo or Madueke. These teams are getting stronger, and we're getting weaker on the pitch and off the pitch. So I think that I think people are starting to wake up to the scary thing now. It's not just missing out on a Gyökeres. It's not just missing out on a Liam Delap. It's not just missing out on not getting a goalkeeper. It genuinely is. The biggest takeaway of all is the one that our owners incredibly have not realised. Football's not what it's been for the last 20 years. You can't rebuild a club over 4 or 5 years. I mean, I don't think you ever could anyway, but you definitely can't now. Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City are building super teams. There's only 4 places into the Champions League. The 5th place only happens because English clubs do well. But that might not happen this year. So really, it's the top 4. I don't see anybody breaking in. I think they are so rich now. And they're in the position of power that they're just going to keep spending and spending, competing with each other, making sure they don't drop out the top 4. I think we're in a very perilous position. And I think some people, journalists, owners, fans, think we're Manchester United, will always be able to compete. But we've never had this situation before. These Champions League competitors are making hundreds of millions of pounds. You can't compete against that. It's like, what's happening, to put it in simple terms, what's happening with the Champions League now is what happened in La Liga. Barcelona and Real Madrid have untold wealth and everybody else doesn't. So it's ridiculously hard to compete against them because they're superpowers. Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal are becoming superpowers in the Premier League and no one's going to be able to lay a glove on them. Manchester United should be one of those superpowers, but we've been run into the ground by super prats. So we are Manchester United in name only. And it's scary. It's scary. The way they're running the club is scary. It really, really is. Thank you, everybody, for being part of the show today. I'd love to say I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the conversation, but I don't enjoy where Manchester United are at the moment. I think this week is... Well, I can say it has to be a big week. It doesn't mean it will be a big week, but it has to be a big week. But I don't think this is rescuable now. I really don't. I think things will happen. Whether they're good or bad, I don't know, but I don't think this situation is rescuable. The one thing I'm looking forward to is when Amorim does his next interview, because I want to know whether he's going to be honest or whether he's going to lie. Is he going to do what Ten Hag did in the second year and just fall into line and be up the arse of the Glazers? Or is he going to do what he did in the first 6 months and start telling the truth about, you know, the club's in a big trouble, we're going to suffer? Be interesting to see. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. And now for the little bit after. Yeah, I mean, look, I built my Lego. I feel like grabbing it for you, but I have only got a pair of boxer shorts on, and they're an old pair. And if I stand up, you'll think there's a snake in the room. So, I just roll over, can't I? Even then, you might still see something. I can do it this way. Just don't break it. That's what I'm... Oh, and I broke it now. The flags fell off. We got this for Christmas. Me and Seb got this for Christmas, and we've sort of been playing at it for on and off on Sundays for ages. And it's amazing. I mean, I say it's Lego. It's a little bit more than Lego, this is. It's, I need to sort of, oh dear. I'm a bit worried here. It's a big one. I'm used to big things in my hands. This is incredible. This is, I mean, the shark itself is a master. Dun 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 dun. There's Hooper. There's Brody. And there's Clint about to get eaten. Your breath stinks! Your breath stinks, but it's an amazing bit of Lego. I'm not going to lie. But it's so intricate. It took us so long to build it. We had to go on Reddit groups and all sorts because there was issues with it. But yeah, very, very good. I'll be playing that later. No, I won't. It's I just need to keep it so they get dusty. That's the problem. I'm going to put it up on the top shelf up there with the porn. Yeah. What am I doing now? I need a new TV series. I've just been watching The Gold. That flag is making the camera focus in on that. Get the flag off. I've been watching a really good series called The Gold on BBC iPlayer. Really, really good. Based on a true story, but we finished it last night. So, oh, Seb, you've broken this bit, mate. I have to fix that. Like I say, it's so intricate. I want to play it later. I'm going to need a bigger boat. I would play Lego, though. That's the thing. Even at my age, in my mid-40s, I would still sit and play with this. I'd love to do it. I'd love to do that, actually. Shall I play it now? Clint, we need a bigger boat. Shut up, you four-eyed dick. Hey, don't speak about that about people like glasses. I'll shove you down the bloody shark's throat in a minute. You bloody cheeky git. There's nothing wrong with wearing glasses. It's just bad eyesight. It's good. Yeah, The Gold. Very good series. Check it out. I have got Old Trafford. I've got the Old Trafford Lego set. I bought it in COVID. It's going to take us ages to build that. I don't even know where it is. Yeah, no. So, yeah, watch The Gold on iPlayer. Really good, based on the Brinksmat robbery. I was thinking about watching Billions. Somebody said watch Billions, but it's a 7-series thing. Have you ever watched a TV series and given up on it? I've got a really bad... look, I love film and I love TV series. I've watched Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. I've watched loads and loads of TV series, but I have got quite a bad... The series I've given up on will probably cause problems. Like Homeland. I mean, there's about 50 seasons of Homeland. Homeland was really good. I've never finished it. Deadwood, I gave up after about 4 episodes. Walking Dead, gave up on that about halfway through. Sons of Anarchy, gave up on that about 4 seasons in. Sopranos, gave up on that after 8 episodes. So, yeah, I need to go back and do The Sopranos. I don't know why. I think sometimes you watch a series and you're just like, yeah. Mayor of Kingstown's very good. Very, very good. Peaky Blinders, I've seen that, definitely. Yellowstone was very good. Power, I watched a couple of episodes and didn't like it. I might give it a revisit, though. Not watched Dexter. But yeah, I was looking at that Billions. Some people said it's quite good because I liked Succession. I did like Succession, although the last season was a bit shit. But I don't know whether I want to watch 7 series of something. Gangs of London, I watched season 1 and I never watched it again. The Wire, I watched a few episodes, but I felt it was a bit dated. Vikings, I stopped watching. I gave up on The Walking Dead, and it's been too long, definitely. I don't watch Love Island, obviously, because I'm still here with you lot. Yeah, okay. Seriously, I don't want to talk about football anymore. Andor I've watched, good. The Bear, watched about 3 episodes, didn't like it. It's not for everybody. I like Slow Horses, very good. Ozark was brilliant. Loved Ozark. Mobland was very good. Fargo, I am watching, sort of dipping in and out of. I just need to finish, I think it's season 2. Black Mirror, I've never watched. Band of Brothers, Pacific, and Masters of the Air are brilliant. Watched all of those. Didn't get on with Taboo, to be honest. True Detective, very, very good. Tulsa King, didn't like the first episode. Thing is, though, Breaking Bad, I stuck with it because everyone told me it was great. If I'd have been watching that, I probably would have given up. You know? What have you been up to today? Went out for a lovely meal, actually. Went out for a lovely meal to the local pub and had like a roast dinner, which worked really well because it's been raining a lot here today. So even though it's the summer, It's nice to have a roast dinner when it's a bit crap weather. So did that. Finished this Lego with Seb. Played a bit of FIFA. And yeah, Beth's on holiday now. She does it every year. She goes on holiday when it's probably... I said to her when she went on holiday, I said, guarantee we get... Here we go. Now you've gone on holiday. So yeah, Beth's on holiday for a week or so now. I've got the tour coming up soon as well, haven't we? Yeah. Oh, breaking news. EAFC career mode. It ain't happening. I logged onto it today because me and Seb were going to play Rush. Logged onto the career mode to make sure everything was okay. And my managerial status was critical. And I thought, hold on a minute. This has happened to me before. It happened on my Man United career mode. So I played one game just to see because I thought I'll do the live stream and I know what's going to happen. So my next game was Portsmouth. So I just played it for 5 minutes, won 2-0. Finished the game, you've been sacked. So EAFC 24 is just basically unplayable. You just get sacked. And you know why I've been sacked? God knows. I'm going to be in the playoffs anyway. So, yeah, so that's the end of that. Waste of time. Again, another career mode absolutely destroyed by this sacking bullshit. So, I'm not that bothered about it, but ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I didn't even know I was critical. I didn't even know I was in danger. I don't even know why I'm in danger. It's a creator fucking club and it's my club. I didn't set any parameters. So, yeah, it was TUSFC. I was bringing it back, but that's the end of that. Yeah, you can't turn off no sacking once your career mode's up and running. You can't turn it off during the game. People are saying turn off no sacking. Yeah, but I know we're in February. Like we're halfway through, so there's nothing I can do, which is really annoying because I was looking to bring that back, but you know, whatever. Mini Brew says you can. Well, I'll have a look, but I don't think you can. Yeah, I'm not starting over again. No chance. You didn't complete some task. Yeah, I didn't have a wank whilst shoving a finger up my arse in a suit. No, that's not one of the tasks. Thanks everyone for watching on that brilliant way to end it. I'm back on the morning show tomorrow. I'm going to go play a bit of Lego in the bath now. You don't play it in the bath. See you later. Thanks for watching. Take care.